Hey, Scrappy people. Tracy Reed here today, back with day 11 of December Daily. Can you believe it? And today I'm going to be working on these photos of us getting ice cream after my son's concert. We walked downtown because we were downtown and went to one of our local creameries called Cruz Farm. And I have a bunch of pictures that I wanted to include. So I'm going to use this foundation pocket page that I made during my December daily prep four video that has all of these cute little frames on these pockets or whatever's going on here. I think I'm out of order now. Okay, it has all these frames on these little pocket cards, so I thought that that would be perfect for all of these little solo pictures. And then, so I'm using the Cocoa Daisy Frost and Frolic collection. That's what this is from, so I'm going to use it for the whole spread. And I thought that I would do a grid sort of style layout on this side. I have a 6x8 outside the pocket page, outside the pockets page to do. So I thought I would do a grid layout because I think it looks kind of cool with the pocket layout next to it. So I printed these pictures in a way that will form a cool grid. I'm going to put something to break the grid right here, so something round maybe to add some interest. That's kind of the only direction I've gone so far in my brain, so let's get started.
Alright, so the first thing I needed to do was figure out what I was going to do with the left-hand side because the papers are not large enough for the size of the layout that it needed to be. It needed to be 7 by 8.5. I didn't have 7 by 8.5 paper from Cocoa Daisy, so I decided that I would take one of these papers and I would mat it on white cardstock, and I'm trying to decide which one I want. That was too much pink dot, so I'm going to go with the blue plaid instead. I actually like it better regardless of whether or not there was a pink dot on the other side because I think it brought in a lot of necessary blue for the page. I thought the other side was a little bit red and pink, so I'm kind of looking through all of the scraps that I've got here to see if I want to incorporate any paper strips into this page, and I decide against it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trim down this plaid paper, and I'm going to make it just slightly smaller than the white border. I want there to be a nice white edge on the inside edge. And so I'm going to, it's just slightly smaller. I don't even know if I trimmed it very much at all. I think I might have trimmed off an inch or something like that. So it's just slightly smaller. And I'm going to use it as the base for this grid that I'm going to make on the other side. I'm actually going to end up changing this down the line, and you'll see how that changes because I did struggle just slightly with this page in a couple of different ways, but it comes together and I think it's fine. One of the simpler pages for sure, and I'm really lucky or happy that I had this pocket foundation page to work with because it's very visually interesting and it gave me like a place to start. And so it made my job easier on a day when my brain is still not functioning at its optimal levels because I'm still flipping sick. It won't go away. And so you can see just the struggle here. The struggle is real with my brain. So I'm just going to put all of these photos underneath the frames, and then I'm going to start building upon what I've already got. So obviously there's already clusters on these cards, but I decided I want to add more to it, and I'm going to add to this page as well. I pulled out the 11 stamp from last month's Cocoa Daisy kit. We've been getting month stamps every month since July, and so I had an 11 from last month, and I thought that would be good for the number this time, and I used the Catherine Pooler Dress Blues, and I'm going to add in a few more of these like asterisk snowflakes because there's one at the top of this page, and there's a few more in the collection in other ways too that I'll incorporate down the line too. So I just wanted to add a few more blue snowflakes there, and then I'm going to add a few die cuts to each of these journal cards. This was the best part, was getting a good smile from my girl. And then this one says, I don't know, something about being together. I just wanted to add a few more personalized word bits on this page because when I made the page, I didn't know what I was going to use it for, obviously. So I didn't put any words that would pigeonhole the page into something specific. So I'm just adding those words now in a way that makes sense. So this one says together is my favorite. And then this one is going to be burr, or no, it's cold because we're nuts. Absolutely nuts getting ice cream in. It was rainy and it was cold and we had to walk down there and we were silly, but the company enticed me with their Christmas flavors on Instagram. It's one of the photos that I included on the other side is their Instagram photo. And so I thought it would be a good celebratory treat for my kids after the concert. So now I'm going to start working on this side. And like I said in the beginning, I wanted to sort of break the grid rather than adding something else square or with straight lines to this side of the page. So I'm going to use that star and I'm going to put all these photos down. I want the outside edges to all align, so I'm trying to center everything so that everything aligns right. And of course, I get it wrong a couple times, but it all works out in the end. I get it aligned. And then my star is going to go down, and this all just, at this point, is starting to feel sort of plain to me. I decide to start adding in some of these really pretty rub-ons to maybe make it pop a little bit more, make it a little bit more interesting, but they kind of disappear for the most part where I put them. So the pink one you can see pretty well, but then I start doing all of these snowflakes on the photos, and I thought that they would stand out more than they did, but they just sort of disappear into the whole thing, and it just didn't give the pop that I was going for. So I've cut out a bunch of these colors, and I'm going to sort of put them over the photos, and you can see they just immediately start disappearing, but I've committed, so I'm going to put it down anyway. And I put them all over the page, but they are just basically almost invisible. You can see them better in real life than you can on camera, but they're still basically invisible. So I'm going to create a title over here, We All Scream For, and then I'm going to add ice cream to this page. And now I have a problem with the title disappearing, which is super fun. So what I end up doing is I'm going to finish this card, and then I'm going to turn my camera off like I tend to do when I am struggling or when I am not getting the page done the way that I want it to. I turn my camera off, I start cleaning, and I come back with fresh eyes. So what I did here is I trimmed down the blue paper on this side so that I had more white space on the outside edge. You can see it's much smaller. Then I put my title back down on the white side of the page so that you could read it better. And then I got out this rub-on that I'm going to put behind the We All, and it's going to like sort of highlight, emphasize that. I'm going to put this rub-on down here as well to sort of fill up that space a little bit. And then I'm going to start adding some chipboard pieces, and this is where it starts coming together better for me. You can see I'm adding in asterisks just like I have on that journal card as well. So I'm adding those all over the page, and then I wanted to add these snowmen too. I thought that they were appropriate for ice cream. We don't get the kind of snow where you can build snowmen, so this was my one chance, my one opportunity to use these snowmen in a at least semi-appropriate way. So I've got those down. I'm going to add this rub-on as well. I thought that this side of the page needed a little bit of black because there's a lot of black on the other side of the spread. So I'm going to add just this rub-on that has black. And I decided to put it on this side because there was a black strip on that bottom photo already, so I added a matching one on the top photo. Then I'm going to rearrange these asterisks and create little better clusters. I was trying to make sure that the colors were balanced, and I was struggling a little bit with this dark blue one. I wanted there to be another dark blue one because there's 2 other spots of dark blue. Well, there's 3 technically, but there's a few other spots of dark blue, and so I wanted to make sure that the dark blue was represented around the page pretty well, but I could not figure out where to put them all. So initially I put it there, and I didn't like it there because obviously she's wearing a dark hoodie, so it kind of blended in. So then I came to the conclusion that they needed to be in clusters, sort of like I would do enamel dots, and they turned out pretty magical that way. So that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Tracy M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. There is a link in the description box below to the blog post for this page. All right, thank you.